end of the year is a perfect time to look back with nostalgia for what has passed and to say goodbye and a fond farewell to things that we have loved. I'm Dr. Kayleen Asbo, cultural historian for the Santa Rosa Symphony, and we want to invite you on December 7th, 8th, and 9th to a program entitled Mozart's Swan Song, in which we too will say goodbye to things with a sense of warmth and nostalgia. The first piece on our program is by contemporary composer Jessie Montgomery. Entitled Records from a Vanishing City, it is the way that she evokes memories from her own past in New York City. She had come across an extraordinary record collection, and in this there were albums, jazz, folk, blues music. Memories of her own youth and childhood are interwoven with snatches that evoke this music. Stitching it all together are the haunting sounds of an Angolan lullaby. For our second piece of the concert, Maestro Francesco Lecce-Chong will not be conducting from the podium. Rather, he will be seated at the harpsichord, just as Franz Joseph Haydn would have been for his Symphony No. 39 in G minor. This is a work of early Haydn after he had come to work at the Esterházy Palace. This magnificent estate had in its grand abode a sizable concert hall, and it was here that Haydn would sit after dinner and perform his works. The work that we're about to hear is an example of what is known as Sturm und Drang, or storm and stress. It depicts a tempest-tossed sea. In the brooding, dark key of G minor, the opening is filled with fits and starts, sudden stops, and then new beginnings. It is a work of high drama, most unusual for a composer who far preferred writing in major keys. And it was a work that influenced Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart as he came of age. Mozart and Haydn were friends with one another. In fact, Mozart dedicated some of his greatest works, his six-string quartets, to the older man. In return, Haydn went to Mozart's father, knelt before him and said, "Before God and man, I swear to you, your son is the best composer known to me, by person or by reputation." In fact, the Symphony No. 39 in G minor became the template for his own symphony in G minor. That work was the beginning of the film Amadeus. Many of you might remember its opening scenes as Salieri attempts to kill himself, believing that he has poisoned Mozart. The music that you hear underneath that opening scene is Mozart's symphony inspired by Haydn's symphony. The end of this Academy Award-winning film showcases a deathbed scene in which Mozart, feverish, deathly ill, is trying desperately to finish his Requiem Mass. Meanwhile, Salieri is taking dictation of the different parts.
Do you have it?
Yes, I think so.
This work that we hear at the end of Amadeus is the work that will finish our 2019 year, the grand and glorious Requiem in D minor. This work is comprised of different parts, each one offering a prayerful reflection that was used in church services to mourn the dead. Mozart, going back and forth feverishly between the opera house, where he was composing and conducting the Magic Flute, and writing this dark piece of music. The mysteries surrounding Mozart's early death proliferated from almost the moment he found his way into the unmarked grave. Rumors spread throughout Vienna that he had died because of poisoning, and eventually this turned into the stuff of legend that became a play by Pushkin, an opera by Rimsky-Korsakov, and a Hollywood film. The Requiem Mass begins with haunting woodwinds. In the second movement, we have this polyphonic wonder as chorus and voice and orchestra explode in a Kyrie that's been inspired by Johann Sebastian Bach's music. Mozart did not live to see this work performed, but Haydn knew it well. When Haydn himself died, the music that was played at his funeral was none other than Mozart's Requiem. We're going to have the great delight of having 4 magnificent vocal soloists and the Sonoma State University Chorus under the brilliant direction of Jenny Bent on our stage to bring this majestic work to life. In this concert in December, then, we celebrate friendship, nostalgia, the power of inspiration, and how music can be the thread that weaves us all together. During this time of the holidays, we invite you to come to Weill Hall at the Green Music Center. An hour before each performance, Francesco Lecce-Chong will take the stage to have a conversation about music and its place in history. I'm Dr. Kayleen Asbo, and if you'd like to learn more about the true stories behind the fiction of Hollywood films about music, I invite you to come here to the Petaluma Historical Library and Museum, where we will have an upcoming series on music and the movies. I hope to see you soon.